Hi, it's me, Arlene, otherwise known as the slowest ever. I don't even know what to say. Um, Sorry it's been such a long time, or it's been such a long time. You're welcome. Anyway, I'm popping back. I hope to pop back more often because I miss doing this. More importantly, I miss wanting to do this. It's been an interesting few months. And I don't know if this would qualify as a Friday Sows or if I'm even allowed to do a Friday Sows. I wasn't tagged. Or just an update or just a check in. Yeah. I guess first I should tell you why it's been such a long time, which would, of course, involve me figuring out why it's been such a long time. And I'm not really sure. I mean, I know in part. I've heard people say they lost their sojo or mojo or mo sojo. Um, it wasn't that I was apathetic. I actively didn't want to. It was like the idea of sewing. It was like boom, hitting a wall. Like, no, not even now, maybe. No, it physically felt like a wall. And I tried to force myself. Note to self or to any of you selves. Unless you have a deadline or a commitment or some external reason, why? Why force yourself to do something that doesn't have to be done? Why force yourself to do it? So I did a little bit. Yeah, I made, oh, the last time we talked, I think I said I was going to try an experiment. Maybe I didn't even show you that video. Anyway, the last video that I filmed, I was going to try the ultimate trousers, I think they're called, which I've made before. And strangely enough, fit me pretty well right out of the package. The only the only place I have any issue with it is the butt. And not the, I love these, but, yeah, the butt with two T's. Anyway, I forced myself because I was feeling really guilty. Someday I will show you some of the fabrics that my husband has brought me. Kirby is, and like he gives the best gifts. He doesn't think about what am I going to get her. It really is, what would she like to have that she wouldn't buy for herself. Anyway, this year, instead of doing Make 9, I'm trying to come up with things that I've either not done really well or haven't had the guts to try. I don't know if there'll be 9 of them, but there'll be some of them. Kind of like the running so-and-so has suggested that we try to gain 3 new skills. I think I've got that right. If not, I'll correct it, which I think is brilliant. sorry, not the correcting part. Her suggesting that you either improve in 3 areas or try to gain 3 new skills. Anyway, so my husband had brought me some spectacular silk from Australia, and I'm so sorry. I don't know, nor does he have any idea where he got it, other than it was in Sydney. So I was feeling, number one, confused because I had no idea what to make with it. And number two, guilty because I had no idea what to make with it. Anyway, I made another pair of ultimate trousers. I'm going to get them. Hang on a sec, and I'll show you what I'm so, and sorry about the glare. I'll just be a sec with the glasses on. I will show you the skill that I improved on, and I'm kind of psyched about it. Hang on. Okay, this is the silk. It has ever so slightly a sheen, and I think, oh, there you get it. But it's got a couple of shades of green and taupe, or as Wayne Goss says, top. It just sounds better when he says it. And black. It is a beautiful piece of fabric. And now it's a beautiful pair of pants. The most uncomfortable thing I've ever worn. Should align them. Anyway, the skill that I'm so proud of, not getting a zipper in, getting an invisible zipper in. I know the stripes help, but mother frig, I am so proud of those. Hate wearing them, but I do, because they look okay. But yeah, they're not comfortable. So that's one thing that I did, that I forced myself to do. And last year, I had on my list a winter jacket from Simplicity, and it was very much like the one that Mrs. Maisel, I think that's her name. I haven't watched 2 or 3 episodes of the show. Loved it. Don't know why I stopped, but I stopped. Anyway, the swing coat that she wore. So that was on my Make 9, and it's a Simplicity pattern, and of course I'll list it in the wherever you list those things. And I was so excited about it. And then it was like, oh, frig, just frig, I don't want to do this. In part because it had some techniques that were terrifying. I've ruined otherwise pretty decent pieces by trying them. And I found the curative, I don't know, I will link her, the simplest technique for welt patterns. And yeah, welt patterns that I've ever seen. And it works. And I don't have the pieces here. I will get my editing team, thanks Kirby, to pause this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is the fabric, and there's the front. And wait for it. There is my welt pocket. There's a matching one on the other side. Love it. I still have to do the invisible stitching here and here. It's just basted. But it looks like a true welt pocket. It's so cool. Yeah, so the curator stitcher, sorry, and to that person I am, not that you have seen this or will see this, but holy jumpins, thank you. Anyway, I'll link her in case she can help you. So that's 2. Number 3. Let me show you. I was going to did. Oh, spoiler alert. A bound buttonhole. So I practiced. And practiced. It was crap. Kirby, can you pause this one more sec? Here is my very first. When it's ironed, it actually does close. I should have stitched it. Bound buttonhole. I'm so yay, just so yay. But I put it on the wrong side. So I did it again. I'm not going to show you. It's the same thing, although as luck would have it, it's not quite as good as that one. Yeah, I have yet, and I mean this, I have yet to make anything that I haven't screwed something fairly major up. And again, fortunately, I've been able to fix most things. Yeah, I'm one of those people who always buys a little extra fabric in case when I screw something up. And you know what? I don't even mind screwing things up anymore. And I think it's turning 60 a couple of years ago that it was like, oh man, I don't have, and I don't mean this to be morbid, but I don't, I have way less time behind me than I do going forward. How much of that time, the going forward, am I going to spend worrying about screwing something up? I mean, sometimes I feel bad if I've screwed up and hurt someone's feelings. But I apologize and move on. So when I screw something up sewing, it's almost, and I do mean almost, a joke. It's like, oh, yet again, batting 1,000. Yeah, Joe DiMaggio had nothing on me. So, moving on. And doing this jacket was, as I mentioned, one of those things that, boom, there's the wall. Similarly colored to the jacket, and I don't want to do it. And I'm still not sure I want to finish it right now, which kind of goes against my usual practice. I finish what I start, even if I've screwed it up beyond reparation. I think that's the right word. Because there's things in it that I'll learn and it's an opportunity to practice. And I usually screw things up close to the end. Yeah, that's just the way it is. So I've been watching this show on Prime or BritBox or something. I think it's BritBox through Prime. It's called The House of Elliot or something very, very similar to that. And I love history shows or historic shows. And I love anything, almost anything about fashion. So this is a show, The House of Elliot, about two sisters who have unusual, humble beginnings. And I mean that in those humble beginnings aren't obvious. It's a soap opera type show, and it's pretty old. But, and I'm trying to tell you the show without giving too much away. Let's just say, oh man, if I could sew like whoever's sewing those garments, they're beautiful. And the scenes, because it's about something in the 1920s, or the story takes place in the 20s, it's beautiful to look at. The fashions are, how many times can I use beautiful? Almost as many as but they're beautiful. The women are beautiful. The story is sweet. Borderline saccharine, but sweet. And it's just nice to watch. And there is so much crap going on in this world that nice to watch is nice to watch. So that show kind of, I guess, did inspire me to actually sit down and do my jacket or start my jacket or whatever. I don't know if it's bringing back my Solus Joe, but it's got me closer to, breaking down that wall. The next pattern I want to do is a jumper, not like they say in the UK and Europe, like a jumper, an overall dress to layer over shirts and stuff. And I'm hesitant because, number one, am I too old? Maybe. But on that note, I'm going to try and link a show. I think it's called Style by You or Style Like You or something, in which it's like, I think it's a mother-daughter team. And granted, a lot of the pieces that they do, the stories, that they interview are a little bit, they're not generally my style. Yeah, it's really hard to figure out how to say that. Well, they're clearly fascinating people. I'll fess up, I haven't watched lots of them, but I have watched some of them. And in this series of talks, chats, I mean, they're talking to somebody off camera. as they're talking, they disrobe. It's finally accepting who and what they are, like bearing their skin as well as their soul. And they don't go indecent, but you do get to see what real people look like. And there's something strangely comforting about that. And thank you to all of those people. Anyway, Stacey London from the American version of What Not to Wear does a piece. I think she's done a couple. And in at least one of them, she negates anything she ever said about dressing age appropriate. It's about who you are and what you like. So that's one thing. The other thing is, as I've gotten older and gained experience and had trials and tribulations, and I have earned the right to wear whatever I want. I do not exist, as ironic as this sounds, given I'm on YouTube. I do not exist for your viewing pleasure, except right now I kind of do. Yeah. So I'm going to try it. And the other thing is, we all, no, that's not fair. I'm assuming we all have some body image. Yeah, I don't like my hips. As I've mentioned before, they were amazing for giving birth. As I was reaching term, it was, be really careful where I sneeze. And dear Lord, don't get a cold, because those children will be born in a coughing spell. Anyway, so while I recognize the value of these wide hips, I don't necessarily like the look of them on me. It's funny. There are some people I've seen who I think look really, I don't know if chic or insanely comfortable in the best way possible, who have builds like mine. I just don't particularly like it on me. So I'm going to try it. These overalls, this dress overall, whatever, jumper. And I will show you, because there are some areas that have top stitching, and I've not done a lot of that. And I'm looking forward to that. It's one of those things that I don't know if I'd call it a new skill, but an area in which I'd like to improve. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Haven't been on here because I had absolutely nothing to say. And maybe it would have been more polite, and by maybe I mean I know, it would have been more polite for me to come on and say that. It never occurred to me till just this minute. I just couldn't imagine I'd have anything that anyone would be interested in saying. And I don't mean that in the grand scheme. It wasn't a Great Depression. Well, that title's been taken, hasn't it? It wasn't a depression. It was just, didn't want to do it. And I was completely out of commission for the entire, and I do mean entire, month of December. Um, I have a part-time job in a clothing store. Ricky's, for those of you in Canada. Uh, I think it's Canadian. Uh, so I don't have quite as much time as I did. Anyway, so I took a part-time job looking forward to enjoying the Christmas rush. And I'm sure they were looking forward to having an extra person. I was in isolation because I had count them, two um, influenza viruses. And Kirby had pneumonia. So we put up the Christmas tree. Because we're in a new house, or new to us, I wanted Christmas to throw up all over our house. Christmas didn't. um, so before we got sick, we put up quite a bit of stuff. The tree, decorations around the house in different rooms. I've never done that. Nobody was allowed in, and I'm guessing nobody would have wanted to come in. So that certainly impacted my lack of interest in sewing, and I'm sorry, my lack of interest in coming on YouTube. But back to normal physically, and getting back there emotionally. Part of getting older is learning when to stop or take a break. And this was one of those times. So, hopefully the next time I see you, and it won't be this many months, honest, I will have a new dress jacket to show you, or at least most of one. And the jumper, the overall, the dress overalls, whatever. And maybe I'll do another Friday sews. Or in my case, Friday doesn't sew. It's been nice talking to you. I'll see you. Take care. Bye now.